It's really narrow, you know. Where what's acceptable, what kind of licks you can pull off, how crazy you can get with your intonation. I'm sure you saw me playing the same notes here on the G string and then leaning over and playing them on the B string. I really got to be careful to play that melody if I want a certain kind of vibrato, to pick the right string for that, because, you know, as the string gets bigger and I go further up the neck, the note's going to get more and more sharp, and it may not work with the rhythm guitars. It may not tell the story the right way. And then, of course, once again, I'm up here, I'm on a hollow stage, I'm very close to a PA. There's going to be feedback problems. There are parts of the guitar performance that I've got to have more gain, and I'm playing a little cat and mouse game about how much sustain I can get versus, you know, getting into that territory where I'm going to get some negative feedback, you know, where it's going to make a noise or something like that. But it all makes a very charged performance because you've got to really be careful about all this stuff. It's not like playing some crazy song where you can do whatever you want and throw your hand up in the air and play with your teeth or whatever like that. That's the easy stuff. But even with the construction of a song like that, I'm using, I'll bring up this thing again about pitch axis, where I wanted to create a modulation of some kind. I wanted to go somewhere else, but I wasn't going to do, you know, when you hear some songs, some pop songs, and they're looking to go somewhere else, and they go to the 5 chord, and they do the typical 2-5 or the dominant 5 chord, 4/5, go to 1. That whole thing makes me sick, you know, and I'm thinking, I'm not going to be caught dead doing that. So, you know, the typical thing in a rock song is that to keep it rock, you've just got to keep something going. It's like you adopt a theme, and it could be the drum, it could be the bass, it could be the attitude of the keyboards, but sometimes it is actually the chords, the harmony of the song. And in this case, I just took this major figure that's playing like this, and I kept the bass line the same, and just changed it to minor. But that allowed the melody to suddenly jump up and to get a lot more expressive. And this is, you know, it's like proof. Is what I said earlier. When you're doing a song in a major key, the road gets narrow, and then you switch it to minor, and all of a sudden you can kind of fly around and do what you want, and then it comes back to major again. The effect was pretty surprising when I was recording it. I was pretty amazed at how effective it was, just sitting back as a listener and seeing how that all worked. And it made me think that this whole idea of the pitch axis, you don't have to get so literal with its translation and always think it's just one bass line, or even if it's one groove like that other song, Overdriver. It could be the same bass line that moves around, but you've suddenly changed the key, so suddenly that G sharp becomes a G. And that 4 chord is now a minor chord, and the 5 chord is a suspended chord instead of a major chord. And you can get just the mileage out of it from an emotional component of telling the story is fantastic. So I would recommend it. Check it out. Any songwriters out there, you want to check it out. It's a cool thing to do. I want to end with one song. It's always a lot of fun to play, and I got to say, it's probably a lot easier to play, although it looks really hard, but it's not. It's just a lot of fun, all right? It's called Satriani.